Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this another YouTube classic, 5 Things I Hate About My KTM 990 RCR. Now, I've just done the 5 Things I Love About the bike, so if you haven't seen that, maybe watch that first. And I'll just caveat this word hate. Hate is a strong word. There's nothing I hate about this bike. I guess things I may be a little bit disappointed in, or things which I think could be better, but there's very little hate. And I will also mention again that I bought this bike with my own money. There is no press bike affiliation at all with KTM. This is literally just my opinions of riding this for the last 600 miles on the road in the UK in winter, although the sun has come out to play today, which is fantastic. So let's get started. Right, I think the first thing, and this is just because I can do this off the bike here, there's no particular order to these. I find the materials, although good quality, they seem good quality, they're inconsistent in certain areas. So I think that's the best way of describing it, inconsistent material quality. So for example, the paint on this tank, and I don't know if this light is going to show it up, but actually the tank is much more orange than the plastics, because that's metal and these are plastics, and I guess it's just how the paint sticks to that. You can see there's slightly different shades of orange, which to my OCD sends me absolutely bananas. And on the paint, it's really nice. I've actually ceramic coated this with some muck off ceramic coating. It's good quality. It's actually really nicely done. There's not like orange peely sort of cheap paint. It's really quite nice. So that's all good quality. It's just the inconsistency of colour there. It's quite easy to scratch though. It's quite soft. Like there's a little ding here, and that's literally just from my DJI Action 5 camera, just dinging it when it's been on my chin, and another one here. Here as well. I don't know if you can see this tiny little, there's a little mark there. That's a little tap from the fuel filler. So how long this will last, I think the paint's going to be good, but I think there's just little, how long it's going to last, well, we don't know that yet, but I think there's some little inconsistencies. But we've got to remember, this isn't, you look at, I know it's not a litre bike or, proper super bike, but, a top spec Panigale V4 S is what, over 30,000 quid now. S1000, 20,000, 25,000, whatever. So we're not quite there. This is 13,000, even though it's got the same brakes as a Panigale V4. So we've got to cut it some slack. And I know you're going to go, £13,000, that's still loads of money. It is still lots of money, but it's not. You've got to compare apples to apples. You can't go, oh well, I could get 3 old shit R1s for £13,000, which you could go and do. You could go and buy 3 rotten old R1s and have loads of horsepower if they worked, but you're comparing 2 different things. So yeah, inconsistency of materials. Although I do find it is nice quality. There's just little bits which are a bit plasticky. And the expansion tank, that's just weird, right? It really it kind of lets the premiumness down of the bike, 'cause it does feel like a really premium bike. And then just how this exhaust is cut out. There's sort of, I don't know, inconsistency of materials, number 1. But not because that's the most hated thing. And I guess we can probably get going for the rest, so let's jump on board! Hey!
I think we can all agree that a well cared for bike is a better bike. And just like caring for our bikes, we need to ensure we're caring about ourselves. I've shared a lot of my own struggles with you guys over the years, and for me, simply talking about it was the biggest breakthrough I had. Feeling low, anxious, and stressed meant that I wasn't performing at my best, and I'd wish I'd talked to someone sooner. BetterHelp is the paid partner of this video, and they make starting therapy easier. You can communicate how you like via phone, email, or even text. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/44teeth to get 10% off your first month of therapy. Right guys, back to the video.
Right, and you'll probably start to hear and notice the second thing on the agenda for things I hate/dislike about this bike, and that's the screen. Screens are a very personal thing, very difficult to get right, very difficult because everyone's different shapes, sizes, they ride differently, they've got different styles, they ride at different speeds. I can imagine it's an absolute nightmare for a manufacturer to decide upon a base position for a screen. I don't know the ins and outs of that or how they do that. All I know is that it's very noisy for me. I'm 6'4" and I find it quite turbulent and actually quite painful on a long I did a long motorway route last week, and I felt like my eyes had been sort of shaken out of their sockets by the end of it. And you can probably hear just the turbulence and noise on the microphone. So for recording stuff for me, that's difficult. And I mean, this isn't really the bike's fault, but it's so new that nobody actually makes an aftermarket one at the moment. So it's really difficult to try and resolve that in any way. And it might be something to do with this air thing, flapper they've put in there to try and, or maybe they've done that to reduce the turbulence further, but I don't know if you can see, but just at the front here, there's like a slice which scoops air, and I believe that's supposed to be so they can, it's something to do with pressure behind this screen, but anyway, it's noisy and really quite fatiguing on a long ride. And the second part of that I will mention, because it's kind of related, is at night time when you're riding it, where that front nose fairing meets the subframe, there's quite a large gap where you can effectively see the headlight bouncing off the front of the nose. So when you're riding along at night, you get quite a lot of light leak bouncing into your face, which can be distracting. I mean, it looks good, but there's not much to it, and yeah, for the big boys certainly, it's a bit of a shit. And now we're up to speed. You're probably not going to be able to hear me for the other bits. So the next thing I hate about this bike, and I do kind of hate this, and I hate the way it's going. I hate the way that everyone is doing this now with everything, where you have to pay to get the upgraded tech that's already in the bike that you've bought. So this is when you get the tech packs, track packs, all that stuff from KTM. You've got to pay an extra, I think it's about 1,200 quid if you add up all of them individually. And you're just like, well, but it's already there, it's already in the bike. I don't see why you have to pay for it. It's this sort of subscription model of it just feels cheeky to me, and I don't agree with it in principle. I think I find it distasteful. Now, having said that, I will say that KTM UK, in a transparent manner, did pre-install all that stuff for me for free on this bike. So I will say, thank you very much, KTM, for doing that. However, I think the marketing strategy of doing those things is not correct. I think it pisses people off. So that's another thing I really don't like about this bike. So what we've got so far, we've got material inconsistency, screen, paying for extra tech, which is already on the bike, navigation. So this is just disappointing, because all of the navigation system on this bike is really, really good. Like the way it works, the way you can touch screen, plumb everything in, and it looks great, it's super clear, it's really, really good. Really good. But whatever software they're using to drive it with the addresses, I can't find my house. I can't find, there's a couple of things I plumbed in, and it really struggles to, that's the speed camera. It really struggles to locate the destination, which is such a that's so disappointing, because I was so close to getting ready to rely on this fully. I don't trust sat navs. It takes a while to build that relationship, And I was like, wow, this is actually the perfect system now. I don't have to dick around with my phone, mount it on something. This is great. But if it can't find actually where you want to go, then that's a bit of a letdown. I end up just putting now the town, because it can generally find the town, and then having to dick about when I get into the town to find the precise location. So I find that quite mildly annoying. It's so good though. I put up with all of its annoyances, because it's just so nice to ride. So nice to ride. So the fifth and final hate/mildly irritating thing, I'm genuinely struggling to think of something, and I'm full of complaints normally. Okay, here it is, got it. So the fifth thing, and this isn't necessarily related to this specific model of bike, but it will do your head in more than all of the other things that I've said. And that is just the lack of dealer locations in the UK, certainly. I don't know what it's like in other countries, but here they are absolutely sparse. So you've got to travel a long way to go and get your bike serviced, go and get some bits, go and get stuff done to it, or just have that level of support. It's really nice to be able to have your dealership fairly local to you, so you can pop in. And it's great for the brand as well, because you'll end up buying another t-shirt or something stupid on a Saturday ride out, go and get coffee and build that brand relationship. So, and frankly, KTM have got a lot of that work to do, but I don't think anyone wants to touch them in terms of having a franchise at the moment. I think this bike is going to do a lot to change that. But yeah, so I'd say the fifth thing is dealer support, and that's not slacking off any of the actual dealers. They're all good at what they do, that's fine, but there's just not enough of them, and there's big black holes around the UK certainly where you're really going to struggle. And again, that isn't really a fault of this bike, but that's just the way it is, and it is something to consider. Okay guys, well I'm now heading off to KTM UK to fit the full Akropovich racing system to this bike, because it's being shipped out to Spain, and this is going to be my race bike for the year. I'm sure some of you have heard that, some of you haven't. But yeah, so this is going to be turned into a track bike, sort of a semi-halfway house track bike, and hopefully we'll get a fair few ponies extra released from that exhaust system. So as soon as it's on, we're going to head down to JHS and do a dyno run and see what the old girl's putting out. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and I'm sorry it's been on a motorway for a lot of it, but there we go, this is life, and I'll see you on the next one. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and love us very, very much. Thank you very much. Goodbye.